Welcome back, everyone. Ronan here. All right, so I decided since I've been playing Divine Divinity, and I know some people in the community want to play this and may want a few tips just to get them started. The game is not as hard as I remembered it to be, but then again, on stream I'm playing an archer, and it seems to be a bit hard mode, a lot of kiting. So I've been playing a warrior just after streams anyway. I'm level 16. I picked up a few tricks that may actually help you get started. Now, there's gonna be a few spoilers. I'll give you the spoiler warning. We'll start with the spoiler-free stuff. Go over some of the skills, some of the stats that aren't really explained to you when you pick a character. So on the character screen, you're not really told much about your characters, other than you have your class here, survivor, you put your name, vitality, magic. That's all you're told, and then these stats. Also, the two skills you start with. What I recommend you do is you have a look and see what they start with, and just get yourself an idea of what you may want to play a class with. I started with this class on my stream for myself as the survivor. It looks like both male and female start with the same stats, just not the same skills. One thing I know is that the warrior gets more points into starting traits compared to the others. But what I recommend you do is you take your game and you open up the skills and have a look. Click here, show all skills. Have a look at what you start with and see if it's something you're interested in. I think I started with augment damage, and as the warrior, I haven't put another point in. It's augmented like that since the beginning. Another thing from a new game, the stat weight is not the same. I only found that out by going through Larian's website. So what I mean by it's not weighed the same is even though we all have 10 constitution, you'll notice the HP is not the same, but we all have the same constitution for every class. At the same time, we have intelligence, strength, or agility. Those stats are also not weighed the same. So what ends up happening is the warrior, she'll get 6 points per con for HP, and if you look, it makes sense. If you look at 60 here for 10, so every constitution point you put in is sex is 6 vit. Now if you look at the magic, it's only 3 magic per intellect. But if you go to the mage, she has 90, but she only has 5 more points. So that's because you get 6 points per int, but then only 4 points per constitution. Depending on your playstyle, I would recommend you look into these stats rather than what they start with for your build idea. Like if you want to be melee or tankier, I'd say go with the warrior. You can still cast spells, you just won't be casting as many spells. I'm pretty sure the spells are not weighed with these stats. Now let's talk about a few skills that could really get you going, that I think are really handy, and then we'll go into the spoiler department. So I'm not gonna pull up the map because it's gonna give away some stuff. Here's where I have a problem with stats. Because of the gear, if you notice I'm already level 16, but I still can't equip really high-end gear, you're gonna want to put some points in constitution and intelligence. If not, because I'm playing on hard right now, I noticed that I'm basically getting one shot by any champion mobs. Even though I'm supposed to be tanky, I'm supposed to be strong, it just doesn't work that way. So I'm good to go against normal mobs, probably the orcs around camp. I'm noticing that melee is okay right now, but at the beginning it was pretty rough. But even now I still can't take out like champions toe to toe. So you're gonna need some magic. But I would recommend just find out what weapon type you want to use, which could be hard if you don't know where to get those weapons. So you'll notice on the axes there'll be a lot of strength and agility. And then go from there, but you also need some constitution. I don't usually play with high constitution. Also your stamina. We can fix that later with a skill. If you take your items and you want to make stacks, because these get pretty heavy. So you click on it, push control, put it on the ground. Now you have some space. So I want to put 5 down. I have 6 left in my inventory. All right, there's 3 trees. You have mage, survivor, warrior. You can pick whatever you want within this. You get 1 point per level. 2 points on every 5th level to help you put your skills into. Now, I can't give you a confirmed build for melee because I haven't finished it yet on melee, Maybe I will, maybe I won't, because I'm progressing through the story rather quickly, because I'm streaming a lot lately. I would suggest you just go hover over them and select what you think is going to work. Now, for me personally, I don't like to put passives into like weapons because I don't know what to expect. But on that, later on, I can show you in the spoiler section a way that you can kind of figure out what you need for stats and if you want a sword, a mace, an axe, whatever. I think some weapons are better than others. There could be some unique weapons I haven't found yet, and that could totally change everything. So it's really up to you and your exploration. I wish the game would give you a heads up. At some point, there is a point of no return. I'll put it in the spoiler area for where it is. It sucks because if you leave everything on the floor in, you know, your chest, wherever, if you don't have it on you, you don't bring it to the next area. So, on that. A few skills that I've noticed. Now, I used freeze a lot on my run, and I only had level 1 freeze. I don't recommend getting it right at the beginning of the game because most undead are resistant. I'm guessing it's spiritual resistance. So there's a good chance the higher level it is, you can freeze more enemies. And the time unit is about 3 seconds. It'll also increase. So you can basically stun lock enemies with this, even bosses. So I highly recommend this one. One I also really recommend is the Deadly Gift. At level 2, it is still able to kill mobs at the very late game of the stage on normal. So I'm assuming at level 3 or 4, it would be much better. So it's actually my crutch right now on my archer. A few things I wouldn't really recommend. Pickpocket. I think there's a quest that requires you to have 1 pickpocket point. So maybe 2. I wouldn't put anything more than 2. I haven't really used pickpocket. Could be good for some money, but to be honest, not a fan. If you click here, you can access all the skills. I just finished the game yesterday, so I figured I'd give you some more information. This is how it looked for me, so if it looks different, I apologize. I should have done screen capture as opposed to game capture, and maybe things were lined up better on the screen. Okay, a few things. Magic resistance is really, really important. The only way I could kill the Dragon Rider, because they could actually kill my Scorpions. Now, my Scorpions were only level 2 at the time, and you have to kill at least 1 Dragon Rider. Almost every single enemy in the endgame does magic damage. I'm not sure which resistance you need the most, but here's a few things that could help you. There's Spell Shield that will block 60 damage, but if your resistance is kind of low, it's not going to be weighed the same. Also, there's another skill on the Survivor. Magic Barrier passive, it's 5%. I'm not sure, I didn't put any points into it. I would definitely put points into it probably early in the game. A lot of enemies do magic damage. And hopefully it gets to 25. The 2 spells I have, Bless and Heaven's Blessing, do stack. So now I have Bless, Heaven's Blessing. Claims that it does your resistance, but your resistance don't go up with Heaven's Blessing, so don't rely on that. But it is really good for stats. Now, I'm not sure about physical damage. I think what ended up happening is my evasion is high enough. They can only hit me 20% of the time. 19% actually. So there could be a hard cap or a soft cap on this, because once Heaven's Blessing's on, it doesn't seem to go up. I was kind of struggling with the end game a bit. A lot of the enemies were not be able to be frozen. Some of the end bosses could be, but again, I only have 1 point in freeze. If you have more, there's a good chance it works. Telekinesis, I put 2 points for a quest. I wouldn't put it in. You can do the quests without it. Plus, you have the pyramid. Just use the pyramid to cheese your way. I don't know if evade trap was actually worth it. I was still proccing traps in the late game. I didn't notice many other traps. The thing is, there's only a handful of traps. So, quick save. If you notice a trap, quick load. You know what I mean? Like, if it's really that bad. It shouldn't be, because I didn't notice any avoidable traps. The only ones I noticed were early game were the spiders, and as soon as you hear them, you just run away. I would save my 5 points from detect traps. I would save my pickpocketing. It was just for a quest. I would probably not even get lockpick. The only thing with lockpick that was handy is some quests you could bypass stuff. But again, I would save it for doors mostly, unless you really know a chest that has something in it that you really want. At 3, the Scorpions can basically kill anything except the Dragon Riders. So according to the internet, you need to have the Charm skill or the Enhanced Equipment first. So without that, you can't put Charms in. I would highly recommend getting that skill as well. Apparently you right click. I'm not sure, maybe you need to have the spell, then use the spell like you do Repair, and then you would click it and maybe that would allow you to put some charms in. I'm not sure. It's not very well written for that one. I would highly recommend getting that skill as well. I like having Identify because I don't have to bring it to the vendors, but the thing is, you have so much money in this game. It's not hard to make money. Equipment can be expensive, but once you get really good gear, it'll last you a long time. The bow I'm using on my character lasted me, I think, 30 hours of gameplay. I've yet to find a better bow than the one I bought from the elf camp. It's just a heads up. I mean, just go to town, identify the gear. It's not a big deal. It'll cost you, I think it's 150 per identify. I like the idea of being able to identify while I was adventuring, but it doesn't help you in combat. So if you're struggling with the combat, forget this. Just pay a vendor to do it. The only thing is you'll be doing a lot more trips to town, but that's not a huge deal. Alchemy, if you're going to be doing anything melee, maybe even the mage, so you can just put those empty flasks on mushrooms, you can get more potions, less trips to town. I didn't use no creature because I figured I could see the health bar at the top. Maybe it would give me some information on their resistances, but I didn't really feel like I needed it, at least on normal. Mostly you just want to know their weaknesses, but anyway. Blind could be better than I realized. I only noticed an enemy using blind near the end of the game, and you literally cannot see the enemy. So I wouldn't mind trying that next time I play and seeing if you basically avoid all damage. I'm not sure, but that is pretty crazy. Like, blind is really powerful when it's used against you. Heal restoration is pretty good, but you can get 3 books in the game, so I wouldn't go too high on it. Worst case, just cast it a few more times. It's pretty cheap. I've been using the summon skeletons a lot just to use as meat shields, and I'll show you why in the spoiler section. At least early game is okay. I'm pretty sure it's not going to keep up late game, but I'm going to try to supplement it with a master summoner. So really, this is not a melee build at this point. I got sidetracked, and there is no respecking that I could find in the game. I read online that you could. I haven't found anything. Magic, you'd have to try for yourself. A lot of them seem pretty good. I'm curious with Skeletal Wall, especially if you boost it with Master Summoner. Also, I'm not sure because there's no health bars. If you could summon a bunch of vermins, a bunch of skeletons, whatever else is actually here right now. Yeah, this, if I put this on my summoned creatures, they'd be even more powerful. So, I mean, you could make a pretty good summoner in this. I found that lockpicking was actually pretty expensive. Most of the things you can just bash through except for doors. So if you don't like to get to a quest area and there's a locked door for you, then get lockpick. Other than that, the chests mostly have crap in it. Maybe there's a special chest here and there that has something really good. For the most part, they were pretty bad. I noticed Survivor's Instinct. Maybe if you gave it more points, but right now, every 12 seconds you get 1 HP. That's pretty bad for 1 point in. Wisdom passive, because you can't front load it, the 2%, I don't think it's that important, because at 5 points, which will be probably around level 20, then you get 10%. But by then, like, are you really going to get that much out of this skill? Maybe you'll get an extra level or 2. I can't confirm it. I should try it, but maybe in the future. So what ends up happening is when you start the game, you'll have no points. You level up, and you'll be given a point, but a lot of these are not accessible right away. So I find that by level 5, you start being able to put points, in decent skills, but you'll probably have 1 or 2 points. You'll be like, oh, what do I pick? So this is why you need to know if you're going to be lockpicking, if you're going to be identifying. That gives you a chance to put a point that you don't want to waste somewhere. I've been wasting a lot of points, to be honest. But that's just because I'm testing things out. Some things that may be really good near the end. I noticed that the enemies, either they can't hit my archer because of my agility. So Aura of Guarding was good to prevent knockbacks. The enemy tends to hit my archer and I stagger. So having this on prevented the stagger. And to be honest, 60 HP was fine. I found that they didn't shoot through my shields too much. Now, I'm assuming Spell Shield is the opposite of that for magic. I would highly recommend this because the enemies near the end of the game are mostly casters. I'm going to give you a few tips here for getting started. This is where I'm going to start the spoiler alert. You have about 10 seconds to get out of here, let's say. Just so that I can give people tips for getting a lot of XP early game, a lot of gold, good gear. Because, let's get started. Alright, it's been about 10 seconds, I'm sure. If not, I'll beep it out. So, what I did on my second playthrough, or attempting to do a second playthrough, I am now level 16. I have a lot of points. I have not yet left this place. I've just killed the necromancer underneath the town here. Now, a few things I'm disappointed. George dies. But I don't know why he died this time. So you get here, George dies. Thing is, I'm not sure why he died, because if you look at my gear, I already have a 80 armor shield, 110. I'm sure I can find some better stuff. But just having killed a necromancer, I've had this before I went into the catacombs. What I did, map, I took my character and I ran straight south all the way to the bridge. Now it's pretty easy, you just follow the road. If you don't know the path, just follow the road. What will help you here, it's these skeletons. Just find a bed. So as you run, because you can see I haven't killed anything here. I haven't even touched the orcs yet, and I'm level, what did I say? Level 16. They're still all here, if I can just find them. Unless they died for something. There you go. Orcs are still here. Just run. And if you see an orc, just drop a skeleton, probably in front of you. And then hopefully, between you and the enemy, you can just keep going. I just keep running. Now, you'll probably die in maybe 1 or 2 shots. See, I'm getting XP from this, actually. You'll end up getting reduced XP because how XP works in this game. And then you'll reach here, you'll get a cutscene, and then you have to get across the bridge. Oh, they're killing my orcs. That's my XP. Stop killing my orcs. Okay. You wouldn't be able to do this, you'd have to run. Here, there's some trolls. They killed the trolls for me. And then follow the roads. Just follow the road here. And there's a teleport. So here's the thing. When you reach the bridge, Zandalar gives you the scroll of teleportation for mages. So follow the road, and eventually, I ended up down here. I don't know why I didn't keep going on the road. The roads are fairly safe. You want to get to this place here. You want to get to the dwarven household. So what I recommend doing is at least get your pyramid, which is pretty easy. As soon as you try to go into dungeons, Landlord gives you the 1 pyramid. Use it, fight what's there, and then come outside. Put one of the pyramids in one of the houses or somewhere in the village, and then adventure. He's going to give you a teleporter, which you can then use to activate this teleporter. It won't give you anything right now, but activate it. And then you can go, well, you can walk. You're going to have to do this walk to the dwarven village, actually. Go there first. This one, if you look on your map, here, it shows you the symbol in the bottom right corner of which faction it is. That's human. I don't have human teleporter. So I'm going to go to the dwarven hall, or dwarven village. I'll show you. If you come, which, by the way, the dwarven one is here on your map, for reference. Let's say that's Alaroth's top left, bottom right now. You're looking for it. I'm sure I can give you a better map. Nope. So you're going to want to come to the house with the drunk guy in it, which is this one, I'm pretty sure. Town Hall. Town Hall. Go to the Town Hall. If you go into the dining room, there's a scroll here. It's a scroll of the dwarves. Just pick it up and run out. No one's going to even give a shit. And now you can activate the dwarven teleporter. So the best way is probably to walk. You can probably look up a map. Just go south. Follow the roads until you reach this place. I figured I would go by the General Alex because you can get some gear here in the barracks. You talk to her and she like swears you in. Now you can access their armory and you can get equipped there. So George gets murdered. What I ended up doing is going, and I thought this was his killer. I was wrong again. I forgot. So I killed this vampire, got a blessed skill out of it. I went to Verdistus and killed the actual murderer before killing the necromancer. And George still died somehow. So I don't know. You may have to teleport out and back in. When I came here, there was a vendor that approached me who was shady. But then I couldn't find him again. But he sells scorpion traps. He's right here. Literally, I put a blue marker. Just just go on the other side of this house. I don't know what it is. His name is Tingolf, and he sells scorpion traps. Now, if I buy all of them, sure. Can I afford all of them? I can't afford all of them. I will take them. So here's where the trick really starts. You've now gotten here. You have the teleporter to go back and buy some anytime you want. Now, all you gotta do is find an area. Also, what you may want to do, and I only managed to do it with clearing.
I'll have to drop something. I'm carrying too much.
That's too much? Oh boy. You're also going to want to go south. You want to reach, and there's no resistance or very low resistance here, to get to the Dark Forest. And the reason I'm saying this is because the first town doesn't have good vendors. Here, at least, there's a good blacksmith. He sells me good stuff, and it's really close to this. You're also going to want to walk to the Dwarven Halls because you have the teleporter now. And in the Dwarven Halls, if you go down here, it's kind of a pain in the ass. You have to use teleporters. I was thinking of just leaving my teleporter pyramid down here so I could always come back. But he's probably the best vendor in the game. And there's a quest for some armor. I didn't do it my first playthrough, but you can go here, get the most out of your money. So whatever you end up buying, you can just sell to this guy. I think he's the best vendor so far that I've found. And to get here, they might explore here. It's safe. Once you're in here, you're safe. The hard part's getting to here, though. What you need to do is clear. Just follow this road all the way to this path. Once inside this path, clear this. Obviously, you can't kill anything here. I probably still can't kill stuff here. I'm level 16. How you do it, and this is how you're going to level really quick. If you have the Scorpion level 1, and because you have infinite use, like if I try to fight this, I'll probably die. See, like I can't do it either. Control load. So what you want is take this trap, click down here for the Scorpion trap, drop one, walk away. Just follow it. And hopefully it goes the right direction. You may need a couple of them. Sometimes they go in the wrong direction. And look at the XP I'm getting. I'm getting 21,000. Now it wants to go its own way. Follow it. Hopefully it keeps fighting for you until you reach all the way down. So keep your pyramid handy. Yeah, it's going the wrong way for me. It's got its weird pathing. Sometimes it just goes around the sides. And it often gets stuck. If it gets stuck, sometimes you can kind of boost it. It seems to have some form of collision with you. Now this one's going to go where I don't want it to go. So you can't really clear everything with these scorpions. But you can do a damn good job if you just try to lure enemies to it. If I come here, I can probably get in a level like within... Well, I won't be able to. These can't be frozen either. That's about it here, eh? The nice thing is, even though you don't see them on your map, they can, they keep going. They don't disappear right away. Sometimes you'll see XP ticks out of nowhere. Oh, I don't have healing now? Oh, that's not healing. Just kite them to your Scorpion. This thing is a tank. At level 2, it can tank endgame stuff. So I wouldn't worry about it dying. It's just about it being able to kill stuff. See, now it's kind of getting stuck. I might be able to... Oh, it got unstuck. What I want is to go... For it to go down this way. Or I can bring enemies to it. I think this is a trap for later. Okay, there's more here. I'm comfortable spending more because I know I'll make the money back. Now the only thing is if you do this too much, the beginning area will no longer give you XP. Another bonus, I think quest XP is scaled to your level. So the more I kill early on, the better, because then those quests should give me more experience. And that's it. That's this area. I leveled in 2 minutes. It's just the challenge of having that Scorpion just really follow where you want it to go. Hopefully this has been useful. Yes, one more thing. Let's use the pyramid. At some point, you have to do the Council of the Seven. And if you can see, Zandar gives you this scroll. You have this circle here, Council of the Seven. It's got its own teleporter. You'll get there through the story. When you get here, if you do what Zandalar tells you and find the Council of the Seven, once you have all 7, the game's not done. Just don't hit the gong. If you hit the gong, then you set forth in motion where you end up in Yuthul Gore. And once you're here, there's no returning here. I barely did anything into the Dark Forest. I finished about Feral. Verdistus, I hardly did anything in there. So just be ready that you think you've cleared as much as possible before going to Yuthul Gore, because that's endgame, it looks like. And it could be really hard. I gained 5 levels when I went into Yuthul Gore, but I don't know if I got that because I didn't get quests. I wasn't high enough level. I don't know what happened. If I get there again and I've done more of these quests, maybe I'll be able to report back on that. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully this is helpful for you if you want to experience the game. Also, side note, this is apparently Lucian. I didn't realize you are playing. I mean, he is the Divine. I wondered what made him the Divine. This is what makes him the Divine. The canon is that you are playing as Lucian. Whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. You are Lucian in the storyline. So, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully this has been helpful. I'll catch you in the next one. And we're probably starting the sequel right after this. Peace.